Hello and good evening. 3 days ago, Munich saw the worst attack in 40 years on its soil, executed by a young man with a killing spree that eventually took the lives of 9 innocent victims and the assailant. While we had to suffer in my hometown through one of the worst crises in a lifetime, there were beautiful things that we saw. Let me start with my company. We saw that the mobile internet crashed completely in Munich around 8:30 that night, about 1.5 hours after the attacks began. And we have seen a lot of alarm messages sent out, and when we checked them the next day, we found out that the time interval between send and reception went up considerably from around 4 seconds to 9 seconds. But after 9 seconds, 100% of the messages had been delivered despite the internet being down. The reason for that is that we rely on very old-fashioned technology called text messaging, or in Europe we call it the SMS system, which did not break down, fortunately. So we were very happy to see that people used it. We were happy to see that the system worked very well. The mobile internet went down because the police ordered the bus system, the tube, and eventually even the cabs not to transport any more passengers. So people had to walk home, actually, and they were checking on their smartphones how to get there, which eventually led to a crash in the mobile internet system. And another thing I want to say on a very personal note, around 8:30 that night I went down to an Iranian restaurant which is right next to our Munich office, and I saw a wonderful thing. This is a pretty small restaurant and it holds usually around 20 guests, and that night around 50, 55, 60 guests were in it, and people were actually sitting on the floor, and they were all stranded because they lived too far away from the Munich center where our office is. And the Iranian owner of the restaurant delivered tea and food to them without charging them. And when I asked him why he did that, he said that's actually a religious duty. I didn't ask him what religion he has. I think he's a Muslim, but I actually don't know. But it's not important. Important was that he showed a kind of hospitality that was really unusual. And in general, everything that happened that night in Munich was so beautiful. Despite the fear, despite the terror that Munich saw that night, people were very calm, started helping each other, opened doors. And for me, it was as if kind of a dream came true when I realized that we do have a lot of friends. We just don't know them yet. And the company I started 11 years ago, when I started it, I never thought that at any time the system would be used for anything but senior citizens, elderly people. That's what we still focus on, but it was also good to see that people use it for other purposes. Actually, that very night, an idea was born, something we will implement in SwiftAlarm very soon. So please stay with us and have a look every now and then once we publish this new feature. It showed us that night that we have friends everywhere. My name is Rudolf and I'm the founder and CEO of SwiftAlarm.